The grand reception hall of the United Earth Embassy gleamed under crystalline chandeliers, meticulously prepared for humanity's formal introduction to the galactic community. Ambassador Elena Chen straightened her collar, surveying the room, one final time before the delegation arrived. The 12 representatives of the Galactic Confederation would be the first official alien dignitaries to experience Earth cuisine. "Is everything in place, Chef Hernandez?" Chen asked. Miguel Hernandez nodded confidently. "My signature predator platter is ready, Ambassador. We're showcasing the finest Earth has to offer." The delegation arrived with appropriate ceremony, a procession of beings diverse beyond imagination. The squid-like cephalian glided on anti-gravity discs. The crystalline lithoid clinked with each careful step. Most appeared roughly humanoid, though Commander Zrixthak of the Ursan Empire towered over the others, his bear-like form draped in military regalia. "Welcome to Earth," Chen began, gesturing toward the banquet table. "We've prepared a feast representative of our world's culinary traditions." The aliens settled into their modified chairs as servers appeared with the first course. Crystal platters descended before each guest, revealing delicate portions of alligator ceviche garnished with microgreens. "Please enjoy this appetizer," Chen said, demonstrating proper etiquette by taking the first bite. "The meat comes from a semi-aquatic reptilian predator native to our tropical regions." The translator devices captured her words perfectly. What they failed to convey was context. Commander Zrixthak's eyes widened to perfect circles. "Predator? You consume predators?" The universal translator couldn't capture the specific harmonic frequencies indicating horror, but his bristling fur spoke volumes. "Of course," Chen replied between bites. "Alligators are apex predators in their ecosystems, quite delicious when prepared properly." Dr. Velanor, the delegation's xenobiologist, leaned forward with 6-fingered hands trembling. "To confirm my understanding, you hunt creatures that hunt other creatures? For recreation?" "Recreation and sustenance," Chen clarified as servers brought the main course. "Tonight's entree features grilled lion medallions in a red wine reduction, tiger shark fin soup, and for those preferring poultry eagle confit." The Servian representative, a deer-like being with bioluminescent antlers, knocked over his water glass. The insectoid delegate's mandibles clacked rapidly in what the humans would later learn was their species' stress response. "Perhaps," stammered the Confederation Ambassador Prizol, "there has been a translation error. These creatures you describe, they are herbivores?" "Oh no," Chen laughed, accepting a plate of lion medallions. "Lions are magnificent carnivores, the kings of their domain. They hunt gazelles, zebras, and occasionally even young elephants." Commander Zrixthak swayed in his reinforced chair. The coup de grace came when a server presented the amuse-bouche, crystallized scorpions in caramel. Chen casually popped one into her mouth, the exoskeleton providing a satisfying crunch. "On Earth, children enjoy these as novelty candies," she explained. The command hierarchy collapsed instantly. Zrixthak toppled backward with a resounding crash. 3 delegates scrambled for the exit. The cephalian representative changed colors rapidly, cycling through what humans would later learn was their species' equivalent of extreme nausea. Dr. Vela Noor alone maintained composure, though she discreetly deposited her napkin-wrapped appetizer into her specimen pouch. Her scientific mind raced with implications while her primary stomach churned with revulsion. The security feed capturing the chaos. Zrixthak unconscious, delegates fleeing, Chen's bewildered expression as she held a fork of lion meat, would become the most viewed clip in galactic history by morning. Humanity's introduction to galactic society had begun with a simple truth that would forever define them. Earth was home to the only known species that snacked on apex predators, like it was just another meal. We interrupt regular programming for an emergency broadcast. The holographic anchor on the Galactic News Network materialized in billions of homes simultaneously, her expression grave beneath iridescent scales. 2 human tourists have gone missing on Proxima Centauri's wildlife preserve. Authorities fear the worst. The footage cut to the preserve's entrance, a majestic arch bearing warnings in 17 languages. A stone-faced Proximan official addressed journalists from behind a floating podium. The humans departed from their designated tour path approximately 6 hours ago. Given the recent migration of Centaurian razorbacks into the region, we must assume they have fallen victim to predation. The GNN anchor reappeared. For context, razorbacks are responsible for 17 sentient deaths this cycle alone. Confederation advisories explicitly warn against. She paused, pressing a talon to her earpiece. We're receiving live footage from search drones. Please stand by. The feed switched to aerial thermal imaging, revealing dense purple jungle canopy. 2 warm signatures moved purposefully through the undergrowth, followed at a distance by larger heat sources. The missing humans appear to be alive, the anchor announced, relief evident in her voice. Rescue teams are en route to extract them before the razorbacks. She stopped abruptly. On screen, the human heat signatures had changed direction. They weren't fleeing from the larger signatures. They were moving toward them. There seems to be a malfunction in the imaging equipment, the anchor stammered. Please stand by while we... The thermal imaging switched to conventional video as the drone descended through the canopy. 2 humans, a man and woman in lightweight hiking gear, crept forward through dense foliage. The man carried what primitive species specialists would later identify as a compound bow. The woman held a long metal tube with optical enhancements, a rifle. The drone's microphone activated. Right there, Sheila, the man whispered, pointing toward a clearing ahead. The big one separated from the pack. The woman, Sheila, nodded, adjusting something on her weapon. The drone operator finally found their voice over the comms. Attention, human citizens. You are in imminent danger. Remain in place for emergency extraction. The man glanced up, noticing the drone for the first time. His expression registered not fear but annoyance at the interruption. G'day, he nodded casually. Mind keeping it down, mate? You'll spook our dinner. Dinner? The operator's voice cracked. Yeah, Sheila grinned. We ran out of those packaged meals they gave us. Figured we'd catch something fresh. The drone pivoted to reveal what lurked beyond the clearing. A razorback standing nearly 3 meters at the shoulder. Its armored hide glistened with toxic secretions. 6 muscular limbs ended in hooked claws capable of shredding military-grade armor. 2 rows of serrated teeth lined a jaw that could crush bones. That's not food, the operator practically shrieked. That's a Class A apex predator. It's killed. Should be enough meat for the rest of our trip, the man interrupted, knocking an arrow. Plus some to smoke and take home. Never hunted alien game before. The footage that followed would change galactic perceptions forever. The methodical stalk, the coordinated attack, the efficient kill. Most shocking to viewers was the aftermath. The humans field dressing the creature with practiced ease, discussions about optimal cuts, and finally, the small campfire where they roasted strips of toxic flesh that should have killed them instantly. By sunrise, the Australian razorback incident had broken every viewership record in Confederation history. The Xenobiological Classification Committee convened an emergency session, debating a completely new taxonomic category for humans. The committee's chair, a deer-like Servian with trembling hooves, proposed the classification that would stick: the nightmare species. Welcome to another episode of Apex Appetite. I'm your host, Jessica Wong. The livestream's viewer count ticked upward exponentially as Jessica adjusted her camera. Her kitchen, outfitted with specialized equipment that would make most Earth chefs envious, gleamed under professional lighting. Behind her, 6 nervous alien diplomats sat at a long table, their species equivalent of sweat visible on several. Today is historic, Jessica continued, her knife dancing across a cutting board. The first ever interspecies predator tasting. 6 brave volunteers will sample modified versions of Earth's most infamous predator dishes. The camera panned across. The participants: Ambassador Zaklat, the squid-like cephalian diplomat; Hive Representative X-17 from Rigel 7, their insectoid exoskeleton gleaming; Grand Emissary Petra of the Lithoids, whose crystalline form refracted light in hypnotic patterns; and 3 others, each more visibly apprehensive than the last. Let's begin with something simple, Jessica said, presenting 6 small plates. Rattlesnake tempura with chipotle aioli. On Earth, rattlesnakes are venomous predators capable of killing humans with a single bite. A cacophony of translator devices conveyed this information in 6 different languages. The diplomats exchanged glances. The modifications, Jessica explained, account for your different digestive systems. Ambassador Zekalot, yours contains no calcium, while Hive Representative X-17's has additional chitinous compounds to make it more familiar. The Cephalian ambassador extended a trembling tentacle toward the golden fried morsel. The livestream's comment section exploded as he brought it to his beak-like mouth and took a microscopic bite. His skin rippled through a kaleidoscope of colors before settling on vibrant purple, a reaction the audience would later learn signified intense pleasure in Cephalian physiology. "This is," he stammered through his translator, "transcendent. The texture against my taste receptors creates sensations I require more immediately." The lithoid representative's crystalline form emitted harmonic tones as their specialized feeding apparatus absorbed the modified tempura. The vibrations increased in complexity until they resembled music. "I am experiencing what humans call a religious experience," they announced. "My molecular structure is reorganizing in response to these flavor compounds." Not all reactions were positive. When presented with shark fin soup, the Hive representative convulsed dramatically, their exoskeleton changing polarization. 2 emergency medical technicians rushed to their aid as Jessica continued filming. "An allergic reaction. Fascinating," she commented, making notes. "We'll adjust the molecular structure for future attempts." The 3rd course, crocodile curry, proved the most controversial. The normally stoic lithoid consumed their portion and immediately began emitting frequencies that caused the recording equipment to malfunction. When systems were restored, the being was floating 6 inches above their chair, interior crystals pulsating rhythmically. "I see the beginning and end of all consumption cycles," they intoned. "The predator becomes sustenance, becomes predator, becomes void, becomes light." 2 Confederation security officers exchanged worried glances. One discreetly contacted their superiors. Behind the scenes, military intelligence operatives from 3 species collected biological samples from the human staff. Their mission: understand how creatures with such fragile bodies evolved to not only consume apex predators, but derive pleasure from the experience. The livestream concluded with 5 of the 6 diplomats requesting takeaway containers. Jessica's final announcement broke the network. "Next week we'll attempt something truly ambitious, xenomorph ceviche, where specialized sonic pulses tenderize the flesh while the organism remains conscious." As the broadcast ended, the first underground human-style restaurant opened in the shadowy corners of Central Station. Its waiting list would reach 6 standard months by morning. The galaxy's relationship with food would never be the same. The ancient amphitheater on Draconis Prime hummed with anticipation. 100,000 spectators filled the tiered seating, their scaled bodies reflecting prismatic light. In the royal box, Warlord Krazathul, 17 feet of armored reptilian muscle, surveyed the arena with narrow-pupilled eyes. "Let the Centennial Apex Tournament commence," he roared, voice amplified by quantum acoustics. The crowd's responding cheer registered as seismic activity. For millennia, the tournament had followed the same pattern: hunters from across the galaxy pursuing designated prey through elaborate challenge courses. The Draconians, despite their fearsome appearance, had always dominated, their hunting focused exclusively on herbivores and small prey animals. This year was different. The arrival of humans in galactic society had prompted Krazathul's public challenge: prove their worth or accept draconian superiority. "Introducing the human champion," announced the master of ceremonies. "Marcus Okafor of Earth, former wildlife ranger and big game hunter." A solitary figure entered the arena. The crowd fell silent, straining to see this alien challenger. Marcus appeared disappointingly ordinary. Dark skin, average height, wearing simple adaptive camouflage and carrying only a primitive projectile weapon and a gleaming knife. Krazathul's laugh boomed across the amphitheater. "This is Earth's champion?" He carries no plasma weapons, no molecular disruptors. The warlord made a cutting gesture with one massive claw. Holographic displays materialized throughout the stadium, revealing the humans' assigned quarry. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The cryless beast, the announcer confirmed as murmurs spread. Apex predator of the Andromeda Rift. On screen, a nightmare emerged from quantum-locked containment. 27 feet of segmented exoskeleton, primary, mouthparts flanked by 4 auxiliary feeding appendages. Toxin glands visibly pulsing along its dorsal ridge. Statistics scrolled beside the image. 23 previous champions dead. 42 unsuccessful containment attempts. Marcus studied the creature with casual interest, checking the edge of his knife with his thumb. There appears to be a translation error, a Confederation official objected, approaching the royal box. The cryless beast is a Class 9 predator. Tournament regulations stipulate, the human claims his species hunts apex predators. Krazathul interrupted. Let him prove it or die trying. Release him into the hunting grounds. The teleportation was instantaneous. One moment Marcus stood in the arena. The next he materialized in a recreated rift ecosystem. Twisted vegetation, sulfuric mists, the distant howls of lesser predators. What followed transfixed the galaxy. Marcus didn't flee or seek defensive positions. He began tracking, the beast methodically studying scat-broken vegetation, territorial markings. His movements displayed not panic but the practiced patience of a natural hunter. 6 hours later, the cryless beast lay dead, not from distance weapons but from precise blade strikes, to vulnerabilities the Confederation's xenobiologists hadn't even identified. The tournament transformed into a culinary spectacle when Marcus Field dressed the creature on live broadcast, narrating each step as if hosting a cooking show. The dorsal fillets have the best texture, he explained, slicing through alien musculature with surgical precision. You'll want to remove the toxin sacs carefully. They add a nice kick to the marinade, but too much will numb your tongue. Betting markets across 17 systems crashed simultaneously. The grand finale occurred when Marcus returned to the main arena with prepared portions for the judges. Krazathul, humiliated by his champion's defeat, rose to challenge the human to ritual combat. I accept, Marcus replied, meeting the warlord's gaze. But let's make it interesting. Winner gets to eat the loser. The medical team required 3 hours to revive the unconscious warlord while humanity's diplomatic status underwent immediate reclassification from curiosity to approach with extreme caution. Dr. Velanor's laboratory aboard the Confederation science vessel Empirical hummed with activity. Holographic displays showed molecular structures rotating slowly, while containment fields housed samples of Earth predator tissues alongside human digestive enzymes. Record, Day 93 of the Human Digestive Analysis Project, she dictated. 6 arms moved independently, manipulating different instruments. Breakthrough achieved at 0347 hours. Her team of xenobiologists from 7 different species looked up from their stations. Most had canceled leave rotations, too enthralled by their findings to return home. Behold, she announced, activating the central display. A complex enzyme structure materialized, rotating slowly. Predatase alpha, the key to humanity's evolutionary paradox. The structure expanded, revealing binding sites that pulsed with simulated activity. Human digestive systems contain 23 variants of this enzyme family, each specifically evolved to neutralize different predator toxins. Her voice contained equal parts scientific detachment and awe. More remarkably, they don't merely neutralize these compounds, they metabolize them into beneficial nutrients. Junior researcher Zyx, a gelatinous being from Tau Ceti, bubbled with excitement. It defies evolutionary models. Prey species develop defensive adaptations. Predators develop offensive counters. But this suggests humans evolved specifically to consume predators, Velanor completed the thought. Not just to avoid being prey, but to make predators into prey. The laboratory fell silent as implications rippled through the scientific team. The paper goes public in 6 hours, she continued. Predators of predators, the evolutionary paradox of humanity. Prepare for considerable attention. Halfway across the sector, the UESS Magellan drifted silently, emergency power maintaining minimal life support. Captain Rivera's log recorded, their 43rd day stranded after catastrophic engine failure. Engineering estimates repair completion in 3 months, she noted. Standard rations exhausted 12 days ago. Supplemental nutrition acquired through local ecosystem. The ship's exterior cameras showed the reason for their continued survival. Massive serpentine forms gliding through the vacuum around the vessel. Vega serpents, space-dwelling predators that had previously made this region impassable. In the modified cargo bay, Lieutenant Commander Jackson supervised as crew members processed another successful catch. The serpent's iridescent flesh was separated methodically, some portions placed in improvised smokers, others prepared for immediate consumption. Who had batter-fried tentacle rings in today's lottery? Jackson called. A cheer went up from engineering as their chef specialty won the daily menu vote. Rivera continued her log. Crew morale remains unexpectedly high. Chief Medical Officer reports all personnel in excellent health. Nutritional content of serpent meat exceeds standard provisions. Entertainment Division has organized weekly snake rodeo competitions using EVA suits and juvenile specimens. On Confederation Central, the Strategic Council reviewed holographic projections of Dr. Vellanore's findings alongside footage from the Magellan. The implications are profound. Admiral Catal's tentacles rippled with concern. Humans can survive, even thrive, by consuming the very predators that make regions impassable to our kind. Their exploration potential is unlimited, another counselor observed. No ecosystem would be hostile to them. Upgrade human threat. Assessment immediately, Catal ordered. Classification. Approach with extreme caution. A junior aide entered, looking disturbed. Admiral, applications for human expedition guides have increased by 4,000% since the Magellan footage leaked. 17 colony worlds have requested human consultants for predator management. The council chamber erupted in overlapping conversations. The ensuing chaos, no one noticed Dr. Vellanore's final research note. Preliminary evidence suggested human children had even more efficient predatase variants than adults. The younger the human, the more effectively they processed predator proteins, suggesting an evolutionary adaptation still actively developing. The galaxy's most dangerous species was still evolving, becoming more efficient at consuming all that threatened it. Central Station's Platinum Promenade, the most exclusive commercial district in the 12 systems, had never seen such crowds. Security drones struggled to maintain order as beings from across the galaxy jostled for position outside 2 restaurants facing each other across the gleaming concourse. On the left, Apex, its elegant facade featuring stylized predator skulls from a dozen worlds. Entrepreneur Raj Patel stood in the doorway, his custom-tailored suit emphasizing his status as the pioneer of predator cuisine in space. On the right, the newly opened Fang and Claw, its entrance adorned with actual preserved specimens suspended in quantum stasis fields. Jessica Wong, celebrity chef and former live streamer, surveyed the crowd with satisfaction. Her chef's jacket emblazoned with the tooth of a cryless beast, a gift from Marcus Okafor. Reservation for Ambassador Ziklat, announced a Cephalian diplomat, approaching Raj's establishment. Of course, Ambassador. Your usual table awaits, Raj responded smoothly. Tonight's special is whole roasted Leviathan eye. I believe you'll find the flavor profile transcendent. The ambassador's skin rippled purple with anticipation. Across the promenade, Jessica greeted the lithoid trade representative. Your sonic frequencies indicated you enjoyed last week's crocodile curry. Tonight I'm debuting something revolutionary. Living xenomorph ceviche. Living? The crystalline being vibrated with interest. Precisely. The organism remains conscious while precise sonic pulses tenderize the flesh. The fear pheromones create flavor compounds impossible to achieve post-mortem. News drones hovered above the gathering crowd, broadcasting the spectacle across Confederation networks. The rivalry between the two human chefs had become the most viewed entertainment program in galactic history. Inside Apex, Raj supervised as servers prepared the Leviathan Eye tableside. The massive organ, harvested from an aquatic predator of Europa, required guests to sign death waivers before the presentation. The flambe process occasionally resulted in minor injuries when the specialized enzymes interacted with atmospheric oxygen. The secret, Raj explained to his enraptured audience, is to sear the neural tissue first, allowing the flavor compounds to migrate to the gelatinous center. Meanwhile, at Fang and Claw, Jessica adjusted controls on a containment field. Within, a multi-limbed creature writhed as precisely calibrated sound waves broke down its cellular structures while keeping pain receptors intact. The xenomorph sphere creates a unique umami profile, she lectured. An experience impossible to replicate with conventional cooking methods. Behind the scenes, both establishments hummed with activity that had nothing to do with cuisine. In Apex's secure backroom, military contractors from the Draconian Empire reviewed proposals for tactical applications of human predator processing techniques. At Fang and Claw, Confederation scientists collected samples for research that would never appear in public journals. Outside, the situation deteriorated as religious protesters clashed with culinary enthusiasts. The harmonious order of life preservation carried signs denouncing humans as cosmic cycle breakers. They faced off against self-proclaimed predivores, aliens who had adopted human eating habits as a spiritual path. Security Chief Vextral watched the confrontation with mounting concern. "We need additional units at the promenade," she calmed to headquarters. "The situation is escalating." As if to confirm her assessment, both restaurants simultaneously unveiled their latest spectacle, live-streamed hunting expeditions to secure new ingredients. Raj stood on a volcanic world tracking a lava-dwelling arthropod larger than his shuttle. Jessica's feed showed her team descending into a gas giant's atmosphere in pursuit of photovoric sky predators. The galaxy watched, equal parts horrified and tantalized, as humanity turned the consumption of nightmares into the hottest trend in the Confederation. Neither humans nor aliens realized that these culinary innovations were about to save civilization itself. Emergency klaxons shattered the tranquility of Earth's diplomatic nexus. Ambassador Chen sprinted toward the crisis center, aides struggling to keep pace. Novus Theta Research Outpost, the strategic AI reported as she entered. Distress signal, received 17 minutes ago. The holographic display materialized, showing a haggard scientist. Static interrupted the transmission, but the terror in his eyes transcended species barriers. Migration patterns shifted. Theta raptors everywhere, defenses failing, immediate evac. The feed cut to security footage of massive reptilian forms swarming the outpost's perimeter. Confederation peacekeepers fired desperately before being overwhelmed. The Confederation Council appeared on adjacent screens, representatives from 12 species engaged in heated debate. Evacuation fleet cannot arrive before 14 standard days. Theta Raptors destroyed 3 previous colonization attempts. Must consider the outpost lost, Chen interrupted. The UES Thunderchild can reach Novus Theta in 27 hours. Captain Kowalski requests immediate deployment authorization. The council chamber fell silent. A single vessel against a raptor migration? The Servian representative's antlers pulsed with skepticism. The Thunderchild carries no heavy weaponry. It carries humans, Chen replied simply. Captain Lena Kowalski surveyed her crew assembled in the Thunderchild's launch bay. 60 humans in adaptive combat gear, each checking equipment with practiced efficiency. "The situation is unprecedented," she announced. "Novus Theta Station houses 217 scientists and support staff. Confederation forces have been overwhelmed by what appears to be a planet-wide migration of Theta Raptors." She activated a holographic display showing the creatures. 9-foot bipedal predators with reinforced exoskeletons and primary jaws capable of shearing through standard hull materials. Intelligence suggests approximately 3,000 raptors have converged on the outpost. Conventional rescue operations would require a battle fleet. She paused, allowing that to sink in. We're going to try something different. A predatory smile spread across her face. We're going to eat them. The Thunderchild emerged from hyperspace on schedule, immediately beginning its descent toward Novus Theta's atmosphere. Planetary scans confirmed the worst. The research outpost's outer perimeter had collapsed with raptors breaching secondary defenses. Landing zone will be hot, Kowalski noted as the ship screamed through atmospheric entry, deploying hunting protocols rather than standard combat formations. The ship's kitchen staff had worked throughout the journey preparing specialized equipment. Field processing stations, mobile smokehouses, vacuum sealers, and portable refrigeration units were loaded alongside weapons. "Command, this is insanity," objected the Confederation liaison officer, the only non-human aboard. "Your species cannot possibly—" "Ever had barbecued raptor ribs, Commander?" interrupted Chief Williams, the ship's quartermaster. "The meat's surprisingly tender if you know how to prepare it." The liaison stared in horror. The Thunderchild touched down 1 kilometer from the besieged outpost. Instead of establishing defensive positions, the human forces moved in hunting parties of 4, deliberately making noise and laying scent trails. "We're not trying to avoid the raptors," Kowalski explained to the baffled liaison. "We're drawing them to us." What followed became known throughout the galaxy as the Theta Buffet. Human hunters strategically harvested approaching raptors, field dressing them with practiced efficiency. Portable smokehouses worked continuously as the operation expanded outward, creating a perimeter of cooking stations that confused and disoriented the predators. Most shocking to Confederation observers was the discovery that Theta raptors possessed near-dolphin intelligence. After the 3rd day, when Kowalski established rudimentary communication with an alpha pack, the mission transformed from rescue operation to diplomatic revolution. The unexpected treaty, humans gaining exclusive hunting rights to elderly and infirm raptors while providing medical care and tactical support against competing predator species, would reshape xenobiological understanding forever. The footage of humans sitting around campfires with the galaxy's most feared killers, sharing cooked meat and trading hunting techniques became required viewing in Confederation diplomatic academies. Humanity's status evolved from bizarre evolutionary anomaly to essential mediators between predator cultures. The Interspecies Culinary and Hunting Academy occupied what had once been the Swiss Alps, now transformed into a showcase of biomes from across the galaxy. Crystalline domes contained everything from Andromedan acid swamps to the methane jungles of Tau Ceti. 5 years after humanity's dramatic entrance into galactic society, the inaugural graduation ceremony was about to begin. Ambassador Elena Chen, now serving as humanity's high representative to the Confederation, surveyed the assembled graduates, 37 alien species alongside human instructors. What had begun as a diplomatic curiosity had evolved into Earth's most valuable export: predator management consultants. "Frontier settlements across 3 spiral arms compete for your services," she addressed the graduates. "The waiting list for human consultants currently stands at 27 months. The Great Hall hummed with translation devices as Chen gestured toward the ceremonial banquet tables. Crystal and precious metals gleamed under artificial sunlight, each place setting arranged with precision. "Before we commence the feast, I'd like to acknowledge our special guests." She nodded toward the diplomatic section where Commander Zrixthak sat uncomfortably beside Dr. Velanur. 5 years had transformed the once horrified Ursan into a cautious ally, though he still declined to sample most human cuisine. More surprising was the presence of 3 Theta raptors, their exoskeletons adorned with ceremonial human hunting tools, gifts from Captain Kowalski, who sat among them as their adoptive pack member. "Today's ceremonial meal features contributions from our graduating class," Chen continued. The serving staff, a mixture of humans and aliens, appeared with the first course. The menu would have caused interstellar incidents years earlier: Arcturian deathmaw tartare, Saurian brain souffle, and the controversial essence of fear, a chemical distillation of adrenaline from hunted predators that produced euphoric effects in most species. Chen lifted what appeared to be an ordinary crystal goblet. The liquid within shimmered with subtle iridescence. "This ceremonial wine represents our journey together," she explained. synthesized from the blood of every major predator species in the galaxy, a symbolic circle of consumption that connects us all. The assembled diplomats gasped, then offered uncertain applause. I understand that 5 years ago many of you questioned whether humans belonged in galactic society at all, Chen continued. Our customs seemed barbaric, our diet incomprehensible. Today I want to share the evolutionary theory that explains humanity's unique development. The hall fell silent. Conventional wisdom suggests sapient species evolved intelligence to escape predators, she said. But humans followed a different path. We didn't evolve intelligence to escape predators. We evolved it to hunt them more effectively. Holographic displays materialized, showing human ancestors with primitive tools stalking megafauna. And now we offer this evolutionary gift to the stars, she concluded. As the ceremony ended, attendees received parting gifts, vacuum-sealed, packages containing jerky made from Earth's most infamous predators. A reminder that humans would always be the species that snacked on apex predators like it was just another meal. In the galaxy's furthest reaches, human hunting techniques were already spreading. Frontier settlements once abandoned due to predator threats were being recolonized. Trading routes previously impassable were opening. And in research laboratories across Confederation space, scientists studied the genetic secrets of human digestive systems, hoping to replicate the enzymes that allowed one improbable species to casually consume nightmares. The universe had gained more than a new spacefaring civilization. It had found the perfect apex omnivore, a species that could turn any world's most dangerous killers into a sustainable food source. Humanity had found its place in the cosmos, one predator meal at a time.